there is always this rapport of the artist and the audience. And here, there are many positive as well as negative things that starts happening. But the very first thing that Madam Chairperson has initiated her discussion with, or maybe has really give us the main point, is the knowledge. So from this knowledge, an artist performs, and from this knowledge, the audience appreciates. At this point, one would really think that how to appreciate. As an audience, how do I appreciate? That is, I think, let me deal with that first. So whenever we are looking at a dance performance, as I have said, it is true for all the other arts forms, but it will be easier for me to speak on dance performance. The first thing that comes into our mind, our eyes, is that we try to identify what it is. And that's where we start a kind of a description within ourselves. Like say, it's a very common item, Khandita. So the moment we start hearing Hari Hari Ya Hi Madhava Ya Hi Keshava Mavadakaitava Padam, that moment we would identify the text, the source. So the source gives us the first idea of what I am looking at. And next comes the content. That is, what is the source saying? What is the source trying to tell us? The content that is there. This is the second part of the description that my mind works in. And then comes that how is it formed? If we are doing it in the Manipuri form, then the elements of Manipuri comes in, the Abhinaya according to the face takes the way of Abhinaya that is done in Manipuri. The same thing when we are doing in Bharatanatyam, it is the kind of, more wider eyes, more wider muscle, and when we go to Kathakali, they are much, much better, much, much larger, much, much larger. So this is the point when the analyzing of these elements come in with the audience, who also may be the critics. So these elements and the principles on which these are put together. For dance, of course, Tala is one of the principles on which an artist composes, and of course the lyrics are always there because that's the source. So analyzing of these elements and the principles of arts, the principles of Manipuri dance, the principle of Kathakali dance, the principle. So these principles, whenever I become a critic, I need to know this. And that's where again this knowledge part comes in, that I must know before saying I like it or I don't like it. So describing it within ourselves, analyzing through the elements, the principles of art, we then come to the interpretative part of it. Whether this, what I am seeing, is art according to me, according to the definition of art or not. Definition of art has been given by so many philosophers, as Pradipda was saying. So, those ideas, again, that knowledge of those definition of art, the interpretation would be based on that. And finally, the point comes whether it is successful or not. Now, this is a very tricky place. What is successful with me may not be successful with others. But appreciation, whether in a failure manner or in a successful manner, is the important thing, and that appreciation word is so, so important. There is whether, we must also, which I have always felt, and I should tell all my students too, that whether I like a item or not does not matter if that item is successful among others. I should give you one example of that when we are seeing these reality shows, they seem very successful because they attract so much of audience. But ours, we are the classical artists, we maybe cannot attract that amount of audience. So here, the very important point comes in. I would quote from Tagore. I first say it in a Bengali. Nritto mon bholanor jonno noy, mon jaganor jonno. This is what he had told us about dance. That is, he said, dance is not to delude or to seduce, but it is to arouse, for the awakening of mind. Now, if the audience feels that they want to see dance as a seduction thing, as to delude, that is mon bholanor jonno, and they are happy with that, what can us, the dance artists, do? We can arrange such kind of discussions to make them aware that in life, art can really awaken your mind and take you to that level where you get Ananda, Sat Chit Ananda. And this appreciation, this communication is what today Sangeet Natak Akademi has arranged for, and we are here, are getting a chance to talk about it. And the last point that I would like to stress on is about the critics. Again, I would quote from Tagore, where he says, Prokrito Samalochak Shilpir Bondhu. A real critic is the friend of an artist, because this critic, he or she talks about, he discusses the creation with the artist and helps the artist to improve. So, we do need good critics for building good artists, and the artists must be very thankful to these critics, and they should take up responsibility of holding the arts to get success, and most importantly, to uplift a person to that part when the artist as well as the critic attains moksha and the rasa nispatti happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Bandyopadhyay, for beautiful, ideas that you presented with reference to the question of dance initially, and also with reference drawn from the great poet Tagore. Also, you have referred to the question of Ananda that always is given by any form of art, be it in the form of painting, be it in the form of dance, or be it in the form of music. Definitely in the Indian context, the question of Ananda is very much there. Before I proceed to the next panelist, there are some questions raised by the digital audience. May I call upon to ask the questions? For you. May I call upon the audience over the digital media, digital platform, to raise their questions if they have anything. If it's not convenient now, we can pile up the questions and we can raise it, all of them together at the end of towards the end of the session. Let us see. Okay, okay. Okay, fine, fine.
As and when the question comes, you'll have to answer because
okay.
audio will come.
Okay. Question come on the screen.
Now you can proceed with the next speaker.
Okay, okay. Somewhere some problem. The question of network. So may I call upon my friend Srimati Mitra Phukon to share her views?
Maybe at the end we can answer. If somebody takes a note, then we can
Yes, yes.
That will be better. If somebody takes a note. Okay, that will come, I think, the whole after the whole thing. Could you answer?
One question has come.
How to see the art? You want to say something?
The question is there, how to teach art?
You can also. I can also, whatever. What is art? That's the point. That is the question. What is it? I.